financial guru. Back again on the ones and twos. BroTalkTV.com.
What's good, everybody? I hope y'all know I got some special guests in the house today. I am super duper excited. I got Big Sis with me. And anytime you see me, you know I got my brothers. I am Alex, the financial guru. First off, let me give a special shout out to my boy, Steve.
What's going on, everybody? Steve is here, and I'm ready to get the show started.
My brother, Jay.
Yo, what's good?
Jay always chilling. It don't matter. My brother, Ray.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Ray. What's going on?
Listen, I'm going to introduce my two special guests today. First off, we're going to start off with Big Sis, Neikia. Neikia, say what's up.
Hello, everybody.
Then we're going to give it to entrepreneur, one of my favorite life coaches out here, Jontrisse.
Hello.
Jontrisse, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
All is well.
Awesome.
Listen, I am so excited to have y'all on the show. I hope it didn't take y'all too long of a distance to come up here. Perfect, man. So I'm a little ecstatic right now. So I want to first thing I want to talk about is when it comes to this, Jontrisse, I know you got a book that's out, right? And I know that you're launching a new life coaching company. I want to ask you a question because I see a million people coaching, and I just want to know, like, what is it that they're actually doing?
Basically, to me, coaching is simply guiding people and giving them the resources to overcome any obstacles or situations or issues that they may be facing. Mm-hmm. Also to help rebuild a solid foundation where they have been broken, and getting them to that, starting over point. Yeah. In case that they do fall, they still have that solid foundation to continue building, because once your foundation is solid, you can always continue to build and rebuild from there. So it's basically getting that start of the solid foundation.
Gotcha.
Giving them the tools.
Right.
Okay. So give me an example here. Let's say I'm a person who used to be a drug dealer out here in the streets, and I was the light-skinned Frank Lucas. And, I destroyed a lot of communities, and I made a lot of money. And now I need somebody to coach me to help repair the things I'm doing. Is that what it would be? Or?
Well, in your particular situation, you would have to find a coach that's been there and have experienced that. Okay. I wouldn't be able to coach you on something that I haven't experienced myself.
Gotcha. Okay, so so it's more like a mentorship, and it's like, hey, I know what you've been through. I've been there. Let's go through this together, and I'm going to show you the steps that I took.
Absolutely.
Okay, gotcha. I like that.
Right. And before we kind of move further, just for our listeners and viewers, tell us a little bit about your business and what you do. And I know we kind of deep dive right into it.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit more context of what it is that you actually do.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So as it relates to the coaching network, we wanted to create a place where other coaches that have different niches can come together, so that we're not just individually coaching who we skill to coach, but we have resources. Like, you may need a coach for finance, you may need a coach for this. So we want to be that one shop that you come to and say, hey, I'm a financial coach. Okay, so let's connect this coach. Okay. So we're just building that network and that unit of people where one person can come and get whatever coaching they need.
Got you.
Okay.
So the ex-drug dealer like myself can come hit y'all up and say, look,
Listen, if we got a
Not
coach
so
for you,
Or
we'll help
therapist.
you out.
We're gonna send you to
We're
somebody.
going to send you to somebody.
We got the resources.
Right.
Okay.
All right, great. Okay, thank you for that.
Not self-incriminating ourselves.
Yeah, just in case. I never sold
I don't know
a drop of drugs ever. So don't investigate me or any of that foolishness.
Exactly.
None of us have, okay? Just in case.
And I don't know him.
Me either.
So for the listeners out there, do me a favor and just drop down your social media, so they can follow y'all and actually look y'all up just in case.
Okay, so I'm gonna list them all. Social media: Facebook, Jontrisse Robertson. Then I have LiveYourTruth, and then I have the LYT Coaching Network. Instagram, I have Miss Treese. Then I have LiveYourTruth as well, and then we have the website of LiveYourTruth, also a website for LYT as well. If you click in our in the LiveYourTruth social media, and you'll find the link for the websites for the LYT Coaching Network there as well.
Okay, perfect. And Pastor?
All what she said.
So I see LiveYourTruth. Now, this is a little misleading to me. And I'll just tell you why I think it's a little misleading. Not that you're misleading, but isn't truth supposed to be like how they teach us in the church that truth is, this is what it is, 100%, no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no gray areas, black or white, right there.
I disagree with that.
Okay, so tell me what LiveYourTruth is.
Living your truth is living what your truth is. That's undeniable because it's your truth.
Gotcha.
Everybody has their own truth, so it can't be what your truth is may not necessarily be mine, because we may view it from different perspectives.
Okay.
So we have to own up to living in what your truth is,
Gotcha.
and also acknowledge people living in their truth of whatever that is, if it's opposing to mine.
I like that. What's your thoughts on that, Steve?
I agree with you 100% on that, right? No one can tell you what your truth is.
Right.
Based on your history, based on your experience.
Absolutely.
You have to live it and adjust your circumstances in life accordingly. I can't speak for Ray. I can't speak for Jay.
Right.
I definitely can't speak for Alex.
Yeah. Definitely don't speak for me. I'm horrible.
Right, but everybody have their own truth to live, so I 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah, I had a issue with that eons ago, because we all here was raised in the church, and both my parents are pastors, so I was literally like born and raised in the church. So
Right.
I had this one way of thinking,
Right.
and biblically, that's not correct, but because it's cultural, that's just the way I adopted, and it just been a part of me. So I used to, back in the day when I was a lot younger, I used to hate gays. You know what I'm saying? I used to like, don't touch me. Nah, don't hang out with me. Don't kick it with me. Nah, we ain't cool. And it's just like, it wasn't until when I got older and I realized that when you actually go into the backstory, majority of people who went down that path is because they've been molested or they've been abused. They've been something tragic that happened. And then now it caused them to go down a path that we would look at and say, that's not right. It's and the same thing, like when you see these kids out here robbing and killing and stealing from each other, they grow up in a neighborhood where that's the norm.
Hold on, Alex. When you say majority of people who are gay,
Yeah.
I would say it's your opinion, because
Mm-hmm.
not everybody can say that they're molested.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I would say your opinion.
I'm just going
people
based off of the people that I
experience.
Yeah.
Correct.
My truth.
Alex's
I just wanna
truth, yeah.
your truth. So I just
Yeah.
want to clarify that for the people, for the
Correct.
listeners out there, that it's not him speaking for every
Right.
gay person out
Correct.
there. It's just
Boy,
his
Jay.
experience has brought him like that. the people that he's walked into have been molested.
Yeah.
In turn, become homosexual.
So now that you've experienced that, do you feel you still can't touch them?
No, so I embraced them now.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I was in ignorance.
Okay.
So I was ignorant because I'm going based off of scriptural content and
Religion.
correct religion and honestly the misinterpretation of religion.
There you go.
Okay.
So because I adopted that, I'm just thinking like, oh nah, I don't want to touch you. I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to kick it with you. And that's how a lot of white people are with blacks. It's not that they just look at us like, well, you're lower than us, and really they don't know. So a lot of them are misinformed, and so that was something that I struggled with. I remember in my teens.
So I want to pose a question to our special guest in term as it relates to, as this example, someone that is going through really identifying their sexuality. Is this something that someone would come to you guys and say, hey, we need a coach for this? And so I'll ask yes or no on that one. Yes?
Most definitely.
Okay, so now that it's a yes, how do you take us through the process if someone comes into your office and say, hey, there's something that I want to talk about? What is it that you guys say to kind of help us go down that path of conversation? What would you ask and stuff like that, so we can have an understanding of what the process is if someone comes to you guys?
Well, for me, I've experienced that firsthand.
Okay.
So
you have experienced when somebody came to you and said, hey, this is what we need help with.
Okay, so let's back up. This is how Live Your Truth was founded because, and I'm going to answer your question in the process. I was molested as a young child multiple times by multiple offenders. And then to have to relive it again because 2 of my children were molested. And I took a different route that was took with me. I went through the judicial system to get justice or what have you.
Yeah.
So if people were to come to me with a situation such as that, I would ask them, walk me through what happened. Number one, because in order to be healed or get through that, you must be able to talk about it with it having some type of emotional effect or impact on you in that moment. Because at times we can talk about certain things, but we won't get past that certain spot that hits us so hard. So I would ask them, each session, let's see how far along we can get through the process of what happened to you. Once we get through that, then we can go back to in different segments to feel like, okay, how did this make you feel at this point? What actions did you take? And now that you are thinking about this hindsight, what would you have done differently?
Okay.
And then this is how you make the steps to move forward in your life.
And then I would imagine, so you're just helping a client to talk through the process so they can find their truth.
Correct.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. But now you open up a door I kind of want to touch on a little about your past. And my question is there something, because you said you've experienced being molested and you've also had your kids experience it. Is there something as a parent, because I'm a parent, right? Is there something that can be done to prevent?
Absolutely not.
No.
All right, because I know, and I
See,
know that
and that's the part that freaks me out.
Yeah, some people feel
Same
guilty,
here.
like I should have done more. I could have done so. How I can imagine that just that path could have been mentally
detrimental.
emotionally. You know,
I don't think as a parent, if I can be very transparent, that's not a feeling that you will ever get over. Reason being is because when you think you're over something will trigger you to go back to that, and it makes you realize really where you are and really how far you have come, and also makes you realize, okay, I have a little bit more work to do in this area. So I don't think as a parent that particular feeling would be something that you would ever get over, because as a parent you think you're supposed to protect your children and keep them from any type of harm that may come their way, especially something such as that, and it's nothing you can do. It's inevitable.
So what continued support do you, not only for yourself but for your elder children, do you give? What coaching advice would you give? I haven't experienced that, but I could just imagine. Like my heart dropped. You said that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Man,
like the moment you said that, I was like,
yeah.
I really don't even know what to say.
What advice can you give to our listeners? Maybe somebody that's listening that's gone through it or knows someone. How do you get past that through it? Maybe you can't even get past it, but what can you share on that?
The thing I would say is, I would advise children to speak out when you think your parents are not going to listen or someone is not hearing you. The thing of it is to speak on it, because we in our community, we don't speak. Our children feel like they can't come to us about things such as this, and the number one thing with that is it's not strangers that does this to us. It's the people that we know. So as children, we grow up trusting these adults, and and we're thinking, okay, if this is somebody that has some type of authority over me, I'm just supposed to do what they're telling me to do, and there's nothing I can do about it, because we teach our children if an adult tells you to do something, that's what you're supposed to do, and that's it. No, I disagree with that wholeheartedly. If it's something that a child knows that's that they feel is not right, say something. Even if they are wrong or if they are right, still say something to another adult so they can take the proper steps in order to get you the assistance and the help that you need.
Amen. Okay. Now, I actually want to chime in here for a second. So I'm a parent as well. Actually, most of us are. Yeah. But what advice or what kind of coaching would you give to the parent who the child now brings this information? How can we? Because I can only imagine how that feels being told by your child now. So that first step, what guidance could you provide to that parent who gets that and how to handle it?
I'm going to say embrace the feelings that you have at that moment, whether good or bad.
I don't know, man.
Let me tell you.
I got something that might,
Listen. Shut it. And when I say embrace, I mean take a moment to yourself.
Gotcha. From
outside people, because I don't mean embrace it and go do whatever, because I was in a state of rage. The people where I was at had to take everything from me because I was on my way to kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? So me looking back, I would advise, take a moment to yourself to process that, because that's a lot of information to be put on you at one time. So take a moment to process the information before you go out and make steps, because if you're moving in a state of rage, you're making irrational decisions and you're moving off of emotions, and that's something that you never want to do, is move off emotions, because not only are you are affecting yourself and the children, but everybody that's connected to you in that process. Correct. So take a moment to process whatever it is that you're feeling. Think every avenue through of whatever decisions you think you're going to make. Whether you think you're going to kill them, think that process through. Whether you're going to sit down at a round table and talk to them, think that process through. Or if you're just going to go ahead and do what it is that you need to do for your children, think that process through. And while you're thinking those processes through, think about the different variables and the people that are attached to those processes and what will happen to them, not just only to you, because anything you do at that moment affects everybody else.
Okay. I ain't gonna lie, I'm angry right now.
I'm not.
Just thinking about it.
I'm not even gonna sit here in front. Like,
I ain't even got no one to,
I'm about to tell you, just text me the address right now. We pull up right after the episode.
I wasn't molested, but I was raped at 15, right? And it was at my job. And to this day, I don't know who did it, because what happened was they pulled me from the back into like a storage room. My eyes closed, everything. I can't even tell you exactly what happened, because it was so traumatic. You know, you forget things that are traumatic. So I do remember that much. I never told a soul. I went home and cried and didn't tell nobody. My mom, nobody. My God. But I thought I did something wrong. I'm like, did I wear the wrong clothes? Did I give off the wrong, idea? Like, to just think that it was okay for you to take that from me? I'm 15 years old. So I didn't tell my mom, because I thought I did something wrong. I thought she would look at me differently. I kept it to myself. And then so when my mom passed away in 2012, she died not knowing. I told my stepdad, and he broke down and cried. So, and we talking like, what? I was 15, almost 40 now. So when I told him, I was probably like 35.
Wow.
And he lost it. He was like, why tell me? And I'm like, I didn't know how. So sometimes kids just don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like she's saying, because I felt like at that moment I did something wrong.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned something like that, because I guess you could say in a church background, a lot of times they like to, when a young girl wears, hot clothing, they say, oh, you're fast, or you're a hot girl, and you need to, you don't want these boys touching you and all this stuff. And let me just put this disclaimer out there: just because a woman wear provocative clothing, or her clothing might reveal something, regardless of what age it is, that does not give the right, the permission, nor the consent to physically touch her, harm her, grab her, anything like that. If she does not agree to it, don't do it. Amen. Plain and simple. You get no love from me, you get no sympathy from me, and you get no respect. There are tons of women out there who would love to be fondled and would love to have some type of affection with you. Some type of affection. Doesn't mean that you have to go and find a young one and take advantage of them. It's just wrong. Just plain and simple. I don't know any sweet way to say it. So I'm sorry that you went through that.
Oh, it's okay. I'm healed now.
Yeah. See, so okay.
Thank God.
So for the listeners out there, because I didn't realize that there's so many in our community that has been affected by that.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
I can't.
How do you get over that?
You know what? And I might be jumping a little quickly, but when I wrote my book, a lot of people came to me that I would have never expected or thought have been through molestation, and it just wowed me that I was able to bless them, being open about certain emotions and feelings that we as Black people won't admit that we go through during those certain times, and it's just just a wow factor of like, you never know who has went through this, you know what I'm saying? And I thank God that I was able to write this book, to help. Not only did it help me, but it helped those that came out, to me about those situations. And they would just sit and talk to me on the phone, and I'm sitting there crying with them on the phone, because it's a sense of release. Because we get, like you say, in our 30s and 40s, we still haven't dealt with these these emotions. And to hear these people, speak about the book and how they read it and how it touched them and how they feel a sense of release, because now they can actually gravitate and talk to someone that they know about these things without being judgmental to them.
So wait, Steve, before you ask that question, I just want to say, did you bring the book here by any chance?
I did not. I thought about it, but I didn't.
Can you just let the listeners know what's the name of the book and how to find it?
Okay, that book is called A Mother's Cry. It's on my website at www.liveyourtruth.live, and it's also on Amazon.
Oh, on Amazon.
Or they can contact me as well if they want to get a copy.
Okay, perfect. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I have a question for Neikia. What caused you to wait 20 years before you open up to your stepfather after you experienced what you experienced?
That's a great question. And to be honest, I think there was a little embarrassment.
Okay.
I felt embarrassed. I didn't do anything wrong, but I felt embarrassed. And didn't know how to say it because I knew what his reaction would be. I told him at 15, he went back to that place and killed that man without any thought. Okay. So I didn't want to cause trouble. And I thought I would be, a part of the problem. So most of it was just being embarrassed.
Okay. So from both of your experience, when someone experiences something that traumatic, is it guilt automatically on them? Is that like the first emotion? Because a lot of people don't speak up. So is it the instrument of, oh, that's the girl that was the raped, or oh, that was the girl that some allowed to take advantage, or they might misinterpret it to seem like you iced it and then couldn't control the situation. Is that part of all of the emotion that you go through?
That's what I went through.
Okay, all right. So it's just the embarrassing fear of letting it out and being labeled something,
being judged or labeled, yes.
so you hold on to it
and labeling yourself.
Okay.
I was so critical of my own self, not thinking that 15 even do anything wrong.
Right,
but for me, I feel like I caused it.
Okay. So because you're able to open up now and you're past that, what would you have done differently, and what can you share somebody that might have gone through something similar recently? What would your advice to them?
I'm like this. I would have spoken up.
Okay.
I would have told my mom.
Okay.
I wish I would have let my mom know what had happened to me so that I wouldn't have to go through that alone.
Okay.
Because I went through that by myself for those 20 years, not telling a soul. So I held that secret. And then to have to lose my mom and to be able to share that with her was another part of me that just tore me up.
Okay.
So I would just say definitely speak up.
Okay. And I know amongst the black culture, we don't like to go to counselors or speak to someone professional. You talk to your friend before you sign up and pay a copay to see a licensed counselor.
100%.
Listen, I've been to a counselor. I have no problem because this is what you're licensed. You went to school for this.
Right.
Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing. Right. I'm going through something that I need some help. Right. So I know it's hard for us, but any advice you can give anyone, like how you open up? What can you do to just open up? If there's a push that you can suggest to someone, go to, like, is there any type of way that you can help navigate that? Because that's probably the first, who can I tell?
Well, I think, like Kia said, because of the level of embarrassment, I would encourage you, if that is the case, to go to someone you don't know.
Okay.
So they can be very objective to the situation. And to also know that, going to talk about it to someone is very therapeutic. We don't realize how much getting those emotions and those feelings out, just being able to talk about it, is very therapeutic. And it also helps us to move along and to, make that next step in our lives, you know what I'm saying, to our next healing process. Because believe it or not, those emotions trickle down into other areas and avenues of your life that you really don't realize that it does. So it not only does it affect you in one area, it affects you in all areas. So if you are not healed in this one spot, don't allow that to spill over. So I encourage people to get counseling. And one thing, we talked last night, someone said last night, that we go to our preachers and the spiritual leaders. Yeah. I advise totally against that. And don't get me wrong, because I am a preacher myself, but I advise against that simply because we don't want that judgmental, the judgment to come upon us, or our business being spilt in places that we didn't agree for it to be told to. So go to and get some professional help, because mental health is very important with this type of situation. So I strongly encourage it.
I like what you just said was get some professional help. In our culture, we're taught if there's an issue, there's a problem, you need to call pastor, call first lady, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then we burden them. And we're burdening people who technically aren't qualified to accept your issues. So I appreciate that. I love the fact you just said that.
All right. And last question for me. The dynamic of your partnership. How did you guys meet? How did you guys kind of get to this point?
We're cousins.
We're cousins.
Oh, so y'all just can't get rid of each other.
First cousin.
All right, that makes sense. Yeah.
I kind of dragged her into this network thing. Yeah. Because coaching has always been something that I wanted to do, but it's just birthing out really latter after my books and stuff like that. So, one morning I woke up, I was texting Kia. I almost called her nickname. Don't do that. I was texting Kia and, telling her about what was going on, and she was like, I knew you was going to call me or whatever. So I kind of dragged her into it because she's a coach herself. She hasn't said that. She deals with family matters more so on the mother and daughter tip of that relationship aspect. And, we we meet up, we text all day sometimes, and that's how that came about what we're trying to do to build that network of different people, as she said earlier, to in different facets of life, so we can be resourceful to help people, because that's what our heart is to help people get to where they need to be.
Okay. I'm sorry, I know that was the last question, but so what is your specialty? So I know you guys have the ability to pull in other resources, which is amazing. But what is your individual specialty? You just said the family relation.
So mine is family.
Okay.
Specifically mother-daughter, family all together.
Okay.
And business. Alex is big on business. And I like
Huge on it.
new business people that are coming into business that need that motivation, that push to go. I'm that person that's going to research. I'm going to help you find what you need and get it done. So I'm big on business and family.
But why mother-daughter? What is, there got to be some...
Because I had that with my mom.
Okay.
We started out good, got bad, and I lost her. So it's a lot in it. So I'm drawn to mother and daughters who don't have that relationship because it's very important.
Okay.
For me, mine is molestation as a child, and also experiencing it on the parent perspective, also dealing with homosexual children, because the two that were molested are now homosexual, living that life of facets. So I deal with that with children on that aspect, and on the parent end of how to cope and deal with that as well.
Okay. So with you saying that right now, when I said earlier that when they, when they're usually molested at young and things, and then now they wind up taking on that identity, do you agree with that?
Yes, to some extent.
Because I just feel like, sometimes there's some people who are just, they're just open to anything, and then there's others that something had to draw them in.
Right.
And sometimes the drawing in was something that was just illegal.
I got a sister that's gay.
Yeah.
Nobody in our family is gay. She didn't grow up around. I raised her. When my mom died, I had her from 10.
Gotcha.
She wasn't around anyone gay. But when she was 17, she said, 18, hey, I'm leaving. Been in a gay relationship for 7 years, I'm gone. It broke my heart.
Wow.
It totally turned my world around because I couldn't understand. What? But it helped me. Like, I was like you. I did not want to touch him, but I was like, But it helped me to now love her unconditionally no matter what lifestyle she chooses. She's still my sister. They're still people.
Yeah.
So it helped me to love beyond my religion,
Correct.
my perception.
It teaches a different kind of
It
love.
really
She
does.
wasn't molested.
It really does.
It teaches a different kind of love.
And everyone knows I'm a Bible fanatic.
Oh God.
But I will say this. Sometimes you have to close the Bible.
Hello.
And you have to just speak to the Holy Spirit inside of you. And it's not so much that the Holy Spirit is going to conflict with the Bible, but sometimes the Holy Spirit will just give you a different answer than what the scriptures will.
It give you guidance.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that the Bible's false. Doesn't mean that it contradicts itself. It just means that was laws at that time period, but this is the grace that's established now. And at the end of the day, every person on this planet
Deserves love.
Yep. And deserves mercy.
It's funny you say that, and I'm going to say this because one day my daughter, she's now in the military, she texted me 1 a.m, I'll never forget.
Yeah.
She was like, Mom, am I going to go to hell? And I said, huh? And she said, am I going to go to hell for what I'm doing? Yeah. And I said, so I told my daughter, I said, I can't answer that for you. That's something that you have to answer for yourself. And she was like, Mom, you know the Bible. I'm going to go to hell for, being gay. And I said, I mean to say her name, but you need to take that up with God. You know your relationship with God.
Yes.
I can't put you in a heaven
That's right.
or a hell.
I don't have that power.
But you have to build that relationship with God.
Amen.
And know for yourself where it is that when you close your eyes at night, where you shall rise up, if God decides to take your life. And I say, just because you're living that lifestyle doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go to hell.
Correct.
You got to build that relationship with God yourself.
I do agree with that.
Oh,
yeah, that's a whole nother. Listen, I really believe that when it comes to, I believe it's the relationship that gets you in. Because I believe that there's some people that we deem as evil or wrong, and I believe they're in heaven.
Listen.
And there's some people that we deem as holier than thou.
And going straight to hell.
All right. Let me in. All right. Listen, go ahead and drop your social media one more time. Drop your social media. Where can we find you guys?
Social media I have Jontrisse, Robertson, Live Your Truth, and LYT Coaching, and then Instagram, Live Your Truth, and then you will find the links to LYT Coaching through there.
Perfect. Now we have to get you back on the show.
We do.
You got to come back on the show to promote the book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Should have brought that book.
Look into that.
Yeah, we need that
She
book.
does. I know we got one. She does ebooks too, like poetry. Maybe
Oh,
we should end with
poetry?
Black man. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she does like little,
What?
poetry with a little music. Oh yeah, it's broken sex and
All of
kind of
that?
stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
Y'all gotta check that out.
We're gonna have to check that out. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, so listen, next time you come on the show, please do an excerpt and also bring your book so we can promote it and get it out there. Kia, it's always a pleasure seeing you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You know, I got a special name for it, but I won't
Yeah,
say it because
let's not
I don't
do
want
that.
nobody else.
Uh-huh.
Well, everyone, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and just want to tell y'all, BroTalkTV.com, we are out.
All right, we
Peace.
out.
Peace.
Okay.